Lou Neben, welcome to Design Show 2021. Thank you so much for being here and for all of your hard work as curators this year. Your collection is titled Striking, Original, Intentional. I love that. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
I think where to start. I mean, we went in trying to stay pretty open in terms of aesthetically, what set these apart. We try not to stick to any particular aesthetic or, recurring themes. And instead we tried seeking out, I guess I would say, like the best of that intended aesthetic, something that was instantly readable and recognizable, but also thoughtful of its purpose and of its intention. And we found across the board some really interesting examples that all are very different in terms of how they look, but they all are coming into that same purpose that we thought was really, really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. I really feel, kind of proud of the selection that we went through. I think there was a lot of very creative ideas. One of the things I was looking at a lot was like originality. Is there something that I haven't quite seen before? And I think that, there's quite a few pieces that had that. And also, works that just grabbed your attention immediately. So I think we have a good range of that.
Love it. Well, so tell me about some of your favorite pieces.
And in terms of ones that I was really drawn to right away, the first one for me was the Living Collections catalog, which is a really interesting, like digital curated display that I think was part of the Walker Art Center. It was just it had a really great selection of photography, and it was all in like really nice, muted, cool, and brown tones that I thought was really striking and easy to use, easy to look through, easy to parse. I also was really fond of 10 Fins Creamery, the milk container packaging. They're just very crisp and very clean, really charming. Also really good color language there. Let me think. Another one, we were also really into the Holy Frog skincare collection, which is funny because I feel like that one really does stand apart from a lot of other works of its like product line, let alone all the other ones in the collection. Like it's got a really nice combination of color and texture and like pastels and metals. And it was just like very like upscale, but still like fun and whimsical. Like it was just it looked really unique, and it knew exactly what its audience like would be drawn to. And yeah, there's just a lot of really fun and creative ones across the board.
Yeah, to second that with like the skincare line, it was so artistic and elegant, and the consistency of branding across products was really great. A favorite of mine was the Walker Art Center Summer Ahead campaign. The sort of vibrancy of the ad work was really lovely. I think, especially in this time where, we're dealing with a lot of difficult things, to have such, alive imagery really feels very important. And I also really love the fact that they use diverse models to show like the different attendees that could come, because I think that's, that's a really pressing issue within museums and art centers, is reaching a diverse audience and, serving a larger population. So I really thought that was a very important thing. And I thought it was well done. I love that, pop of yellow within the ads. That was one of my favorites too. And, to, mention with Blue, a similar kind of idea with the Living Collections catalog. Like I've worked at a museum, and I really do believe it's very important to have accessible information to people. Like this is how we educate people. This is how people have access to their own stories and their own community stories. And I think that's something that's really important, is that giving accessibility, right, to an institution's collections and information, right? You don't want to hoard that. This is really for people. And, you know, it can be challenging to deliver that sort of information. And I thought it really was beautifully done and easily digestible. And, you know, yeah, I really like that one too.
Absolutely. So did you see any kind of recurring you know, trends or visual themes that that stood out to you?
You know, I feel like there is a lot of like pushing beyond, you know, typical color schemes, looking for like really fun, vibrant palettes in a way that I feel like I hadn't seen in graphic design for a while. I think that everyone is trying to look for different interpretations of like vibrant and colorful in a way that's like been really fun and exciting. Let me think. There's lots of really interesting combinations of like flat and like very graphic design and some really like detailed textures, or even like digital, you know, like rendered digital like textures and images and things like that to give things some depth. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but I feel like it looks very like, you know, liquidy and like textured in a way that doesn't look realistic exactly, but it's very like appealing and sensory in a way that I liked a lot.
Yeah, very kind of tactile.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neben, anything you wanted to add there?
Oh, with the colors, well, I just really enjoyed the bold colors. Of course, you know, that's personal taste, but there are quite a few that I felt were, you know, using like really interesting kind of color blocking going on, or, you know, really playing with some of those brighter colors, which, you know, I personally enjoy.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. So your own work, you know, as designers, as you know, practitioners in this space, how did that influence your approach to putting together this collection?
I think for me, you know, one thing that I tend to think about is, you know, what sort of voices tend to be present within design, or are, you know, kind of heralded, right? And, or, you know, like there's always some design trends are always very popular. So for me, like, I want to see something a little bit different. I want to see something that I haven't quite seen before, somebody really kind of pushing their creativity, and so that was something that I feel like influenced some of my decision making. I do think like it's really important to be, you know, responsible designers in a much broader sense of like how we connect with community and other people. So, you know, for something like, okay, the Planned Parenthood RX Refill program, like that's something that is, you know, about making things more, I think, accessible in a way, or more approachable. You know, sexual health can be something that's like, you know, kind of like a hard thing for a lot of people. So I think that's like a really good way of, you know, making it much more lively and fun. You know, I like seeing diversity of models. Like that was like an important factor for me. And I think different takes, different stories, but, you know, also I just, you know, liking to see people play. And I think also just sort of like an embracing of life kind of, you know, filtered through in a little bit of way, like that playfulness. We need that, especially in this time. So, you know, there's kind of a lot of different, you know, things you could kind of point to, but those were some things I was thinking about.
I'm typically thinking of graphic design, you know, from my perspective as a comic artist, where a lot of your graphic design or any kind of text or imagery you're using is pulling double duty, right? Because it's communicating information, but it also is meant to be something that is like letting your audience be immersed in whatever message, whatever mood, whatever story is going on. And I think I found that some of the ones that I was most drawn to are ones that are like using design elements to immerse the viewer in the world that it's presenting to them. Like I think of that with the MSP International Film Festival, campaign, the Living Collections catalog, I feel did that really well. Like Blank Space, the card game, and the Society of Pro Advisory, like they're all creating a really immersive space with the design elements that they chose. And I think that is part of a really effective campaign, is drawing your viewers in and creating a space where they want to be, or like, you know, something that they want to be part of. And I feel like that can be accomplished in a lot of different ways, like, you know, creating opportunities for your viewer to see themselves in the ads, or like in the images, or, you know, a life way that's familiar to them is very like an important part of that. But yeah, so is also like really interesting choices of color, texture, moods evoked, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, kind of jumping off of like that immersive thing, like I do think like the Society of Pro Advisory was really kind of great, because you're taking a subject that I think for a lot of people, like, ooh, accounting, like maybe doesn't really get most people's gears going, but then they made it like so mysterious and interactive, and like, you know, with like little badges, and taking very like, you know, common elements. Okay, a plus sign, now this is a design element with all these other things, you know, multiplication. I thought that was a very fun take. And I think, yeah, like kind of re-looking at something and making it new. You know, I thought that was a very creative one. And the color scheme was interesting as well.
Fantastic. So anything that you saw in the submissions that you'll be taking away and influencing your own work?
I found myself, and I think we talked, the two of us, about this quite a bit, is what individual graphic designer is often capable of doing. You know, when you think about graphic design or any kind of campaign, you typically think of it as a team effort, right? Where there's like a firm or a group, a collective that's doing work on behalf of a client. But I feel like I was also particularly struck by work that was done by individual artists or designers, and being able to see a person's singular vision be able to be really strong. I mean, for us, like, I think the main one that demonstrated this was the Stop Killing Black People image that was, I'm fairly certain, made by, you know, one individual designer, and was able to create like a really unique, immediately like parsable, immediately like recognizable, unique, like impactful, you know, image, by, you know, not compromising on that artist's like artistic voice and intention. Like that was really compelling to me. And I think it helped me reevaluate graphic design as something that is possible for individuals to make a big impact on.
Right. Yeah, that piece, you know, was really great. Like Lou was saying, like there's this like consistency across all of the signage that was produced. And I mean, it was signage and t-shirts where it was applied, right? You know, when you think about the context in which it's seen, like there needs to be this immediacy and readability, right? And I think that definitely was achieved. And, you know, the lettering was unique. Like this is hand-drawn lettering. So you can see, you know, that definitely that the voice of the artist and the designer, you know, very individualized within the pieces that were presented. You know, so that was like something that was really kind of cool and compelling, is that, you know, when you think about like design can be used in these very immediate and pressing concerns, and within activism as well, right? You know, I think that's something that is interesting to think about, how design and activism can intersect.
Love it. Absolutely. Blue, Neben, thank you so very, very much for all your work on behalf of AIGA Minnesota Design Show 2021. Love your collection, love what you've put together here, and really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you so much. You know, it was awesome to see the range of creativity. There were definitely some hard choices to be made. It was hard to be like, ooh, which one's going to be my top, you know, top
Right.
choices. But definitely enjoyed that, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.